Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another UK Trade and Investment presentation. I'm Gerald La Touche, International Trade Advisor in the West Midlands. I'll be giving you a brief overview of what UK Trade and Investment can do for a first-time exporter or someone who is new to exporting. We'll go through this program looking at what can UK Trade and Investment Passport to Export program do for you. It's a 12-month support program. We'll look at your eligibility and how you may apply for the program. We'll look at how you are assessed and your readiness for the program and for exporting generally. And I'll discuss with you how your international trade advisor works with you to develop an action plan for your export activities. Also, we'll briefly touch on your market research and visiting your target markets. How do you identify the markets that are best for you? And how do you target those markets to optimize your returns as a new exporter? What we'll do, I'll go through this little presentation and we will hold all questions towards the end of the presentation. So just make a note of anything that you may want to inquire about further as we progress through the presentation. We've got a few other trade advisors here. So during the question and answers time, I've got my colleague Sarah Gertie who may be able to participate and answer some of your questions. Just as an overview, this is just to show you the level of support that UKTI gives to businesses generally in the UK. So you know if you're with us, you're with good hands and the support that we can give to you. The statistics from 2014-15, as you can see on the board, it shows there the number of businesses that we have engaged, the amount of additional sales that's been brought into the UK as a result of UK trade and investment engagement with these businesses. The type of businesses we work with all businesses. The Passport to Export program is really to help micro businesses, SMEs, small businesses to introduce them to the market. And you see there it says 90% of those businesses are new to exporting or have been exporting for less than a year, and that's the type of people. So if you're that type of business, new to export, reactively exporting, don't know much about export, this session is certainly for you. Again, more context to be added. Where do I start? Where do you start as an exporter? You've got the advantage of UK Trade and Investment being an agency between the Department of Business, Innovation and Skills and the Foreign Office. So we've got access to all of these British embassies and consulates overseas. So when you come to me or come to any trade advisor in your local area to work with you, this person will be putting you in touch and has contact with all the British offices around the world. So when you come to us and say, well, this is the market I want to look at, we can contact our colleagues in these countries and get a feel for the market, for your product, and talk to you and give you some advice before you start to spend money and take the risk of going overseas. We can give you a feel of that market through the UKTI offices around the world. Again, more context to exporting generally. We know that exporting helps businesses to increase sales, improve their financial performance and resilience. We know that it helps you to grow the business and get economies of scale that are not possible locally. Helps you to spread your business risk. One of the best ways to spread your business risk is by diversifying your market, and exporting helps you to do that. Increase the returns on your investment, especially in terms of research and development, as companies that export has to deal with competition and are usually more innovative than companies that are just locally based. And to increase the commercial lifespan of your products and services. So it's basically showing some research, again here, academic research that supports the benefits of exporting to any company. So we know already that it's to your advantage, and I think the reason you're here is because you want to access that potential for your business. Achieve stronger financial performance, more productive and innovative than non-exporters, more resilient to economic downturn, which is very important in these times, have a higher profile and more credibility, and more likely to stay in business. When we engage with businesses, these are usually some of the risks and concerns that are expressed by businesses that are new to export. How do I find my overseas customers? How do I get paid? How do I ensure that the payment that I receive is the equivalent of what I expect when it gets here in terms of the foreign exchange conversion? The pricing, how do I price my goods to compete in local and the international market overseas? How do I deal with the risk of countries where there are war, diseases, personal safety, all of these different challenges? How do I overcome those? Addressing your intellectual property. If you're going out to somewhere like China or somewhere where you're not sure about the protection for your brand, for your trademark when you get to these countries. We will work with you to ensure that you have this covered. The legislation and regulation in a lot of different countries around the world, if you're not trading within the EU, it gets complicated. How do I address that? The logistics, what are my best means of transit, my best means of payment, the Incoterms, how do I deal with this? So all of these risks have been assessed and understood by UK Trade and Investment. And when we engage with businesses, we are prepared and we are ready to help you to address these concerns expressed by businesses. Where we can't support you directly, UKTI have the means and the connections and the partnership to signpost you to the right organizations. The Passport to Export program, the 12-month program that I speak of that you can come on as a first-time exporter, offers initially an initial workshop that will introduce you, a whole-day workshop that will introduce you to all what you need to know and be considering if you're going overseas and taking your business overseas. It's set up around 12 months and offers masterclasses around these topics that you're seeing on the screen right now. So in terms of identifying the country, the sector, information for targeting the right markets, dealing with different languages and cultures. We've got trade advisors, language advisors, cultural advisors who deals with exactly these issues. So our international business and culture advisor would take you through this, the process of finding new customers overseas, your routes to market. Again, we've got advisors who will assist you to identify the different routes. Why do I use a distributor over an agent? Which is the most appropriate for me to use going to a certain market? Different countries may have different requirements. There might be different advantages to one over the other. If you're going to the Middle East, what might work there might not be what may work for you if you go into the US. So we have trade advisors who can work with you. And it's a free service initially from UKTI so that you understand those things before you go out and contract with partners overseas. Your sales, your marketing, your website. We've got digital trade advisors whose role is purely that. They're e-commerce advisors and they deal with websites. So unlike me, who will deal with the overview of your international trading, we'll set up a consultation with this person and they will come and they'll review your website, look at your web optimization for a particular market, understand your product and your target audience, and work with you to get your website positioned to that market that you're identifying. Duties, taxations in foreign country, the logistics, the transit insurance, your liability. Where does your liability end when you ship goods to someone in the United Arab Emirates? You know, whether it's whether it's FOB or whether it's CIF, what terms are you shipping and how do you understand those terms? And if the good stays on one port and it's returned to you, who is liable for the cost of that shipment? So all of these different issues, working with UKTI, will help you to understand those issues. And what we say is that when you come and work with UKTI, it's a matter of assisting you to manage those risks and challenges that you will find taking your business overseas. So it's a matter of mitigating those and minimizing those so that you make as few mistakes as possible, because in this business, mistake is money. So as much help as you can get to ensure that you minimize those risks is what UKTI is there for. So as I said, the program is geared, the Passport to Export program, towards new and reactive or inexperienced exporters. When I say reactive, a lot of businesses sit here locally and they get inquiries from overseas that they did not trigger themselves and they react to it. So you might find that if you look at your reactive orders, there's quite a few business coming from a particular part of the world, from France or from Italy, and you may want to just explore that further to see, well, what is the potential there? What are the competitors there? What is the market there? So we would work with you to explore that further. Again, that reactive market may just be a one-off. It may not necessarily mean that you should throw everything at that market. So usually businesses believe, you might get someone who thinks that, oh, well, we had a few orders from this part, so there must be demand for our product, so we want to go to this country. But further investigation may just reveal that it may not be the best option for you. So the program, 12 months program, it comes with £1,000 match funding. So that is really to help you with your market visit and to help you explore that market. So as you develop on the program, that funding at some point will come into use for you to visit the market. It goes towards whether it's hotel costs, transportation, taxis, the basic things that will just assist you to make that step. You will work with your trade advisor to develop an action plan, an export action plan. So in the context of your overall business strategy, we will sit with you after you've been on the masterclasses and identify the key markets for you to be going to. Your trade advisor will develop an action plan that will be reviewed along that 12-month period so that we know you're working towards specific goals. We'll help you to find the right markets because you'd have done quite some extensive market research training and identifying and linking your product with the demand that we believe is out there for your product. We will work with you on trade fairs and exhibitions. Another key element that UKTI can help you with. Sometimes you want to attend a big trade show going on in a certain country. With UKTI, you can be part of a team, part of a mission. We can work with the embassies overseas to ensure that you're going there and you're getting value and not just visiting another trade exhibition for the sake of it, but you're actually coming out with meetings and potential customers and potential orders. We'll also work to give you advice on grants and further funding to support your export development. We'll plan your activities and programs for overseas visits. There's training and development through masterclasses and workshops, and that's a key element of the Passport to Export program. The 12 months you're on, there's some key workshop, whether it's logistic, whether it's Incoterms, whether it's means of payments, letters of credit, language and culture. There are some key workshops, marketing, that you will get to enable you to make some decisions on your own or have the knowledge to work with a trade advisor to do that. There is quite a focus on e-exporting, and that's why we have the e-commerce advisors who will work with you on your website in terms of e-marketing and managing sales through your website, but also optimizing that website for potential sales. We got a standard Passport to Export program which is pitched at every business, but for retail companies and companies that we are aware are doing more online and doing more B2C style business, we've got a bespoke Passport to Export program that is targeted at these businesses. So when you come to work with your trade advisor, that will be identified and you will be advised on what is the best route for you to take. So the access to the program basically is an international trade advisor. That's your starting point. So if you're not already working with an international trade advisor, when you leave here, if you want to know more about exports, if you want more UK trade and investment services to help you export and grow your business internationally, your starting point is with an international trade advisor. In terms of eligibility, as I said, if you're a small, medium-sized business, which is less than 250 employees, less than 43 million euros turnover, less than 10% proactive sales, and less than 25 reactive, which most of you may be in that area where you're practically just starting to come into the export business, then most businesses that want to go overseas and engage with UKTI easily meet that criteria. Now I talk about assessing your readiness to export, and that, as I said, is done not in isolation of your overall business plan. So your international trade advisor will work with you to understand your business, understand your products, understand your overall business strategy. Where do you want to go next for your business? What are your plans for your business? So your export strategy is not in isolation of what you are doing generally as a business. It's just a subset of that overall business strategy. So we will work in the context of your overall and broader business strategy to help you develop your export plan. We will look specifically at your products and services to ensure that they're fit for the markets that you want to enter, that they meet the criteria for entering these markets, that they will pass the regulations, that in terms of packaging and labeling, they meet the criteria to enter these markets. Your capacity to export, whether you have the time, the resources for research and marketing. We will examine how much of that you're already doing in your local market and how can we work with you to do more to engage your overseas market and grow your international sales. The assessment also involves looking at your key resources. How many people are employed in the business? In terms of production, if you want to meet the demand in a certain market, whether you have the capacity, the people, the time, the knowledge and money. So we'll work with you to identify that, and where that is, whether you're short of that, we will work with you and direct you to how you can develop that as a business, so that first you meet that capacity locally to then be able to take the business overseas. So it's quite a process, working through this with an ITA and doing the assessment. It's a free service. That's the advantage of all of that. You get this expertise to come in from UK Trade and Investment to do that examination with you for your business, and it's all a free service. Outside of the Passport to Export program, there are other tools that UKTI offer that you can engage with online and begin to develop your own export knowledge. This is of no cost and takes less of UKTI resources. The onus is on you to engage with the Export Savvy, a unique learning and information online tool for companies who want to grow their business overseas, covering multiple topics. Each 15 minutes module is targeted at beginner level exporters with bite-size and think it through themes. So I've got some brochures there, I think, for the Export Savvy. So if you want to do more on this is the website, but I can give you a brochure that you can take with you. Go online, register yourself for the Export Savvy. There won't be anyone working with you through this. You do it on your own behalf. So that's the difference between this and the Passport to Export program. Another free tool that you can access for yourself is the Open to Export program. It's the UK's online export community helping small businesses get ready to sell overseas. It's backed by government and business. It's a not-for-profit social enterprise where companies can get free information. Again, it's a community of experts that can help to take you to the next step. This is of your own initiative. I've got a few flyers. You can take it. You go online. Again, I'd advise you to explore those as it begins to give you a feel for what is required for the overseas market. Your next step is certainly going to involve working with a trade advisor. So while you may be able to dip into all of these resources and get the knowledge, you can't take the next step without working with an international trade advisor. And as I say to you, it's a free UK Trade and Investment government service. So please take advantage of it. The Export Insights visit. Again, that is something that will benefit you while you're on the Passport to Export program. It helps you gain experience in an overseas market. This is a program that the government has, which is targeted. It's a group trade visit to a number of European countries, giving companies with little or no international export experience and insight into the international trade. The program will typically last for 1 or 2 days plus travel time. To be eligible, open to business with little or no international business experience and who are not already doing business with the markets they are visiting. There's a limit of 1 use of the program per company. So there is government support helping you, giving you a grant to take you to a European country to get a feel of what happens when you go out to engage with international clients. Meetings will be prepared for you and you'll get a feel of exactly what it's like to explore these markets on your own with government support. We've got something called the Overseas Market Introduction Service, the OMIS, which is a next step in your market research after you've done your initial groundwork. This is usually a paid service. This is offered to all businesses, whether you're on the Passport to Export program or not. This is maybe not something that businesses new to export will be diving in initially, as we will be helping you to understand the markets you should be looking at, the countries that you should be identifying and targeting your research. This is when you've identified and you understand a certain market and you want to grow in that market and get greater knowledge of that market, competitors, the structure of the market, the potential customers that you may be able to get in this market. So this is where you prepare a specific brief that we send out to whether it's UK commercial officers or some third-party organization to do some in-depth research. So that's a higher level of research which will come with a fee, and that's the Overseas Market Introduction Service. Again, another service which is not only for companies that are on the Passport program, but this could be any British company. The Trade Access Program. It helps with overseas trade fairs. So if you wanted to exhibit at a big exhibition going on in a market of your choice and you're familiar with an exhibition within your industry, and it could help you to go out and exhibit yourself, your products in that market. We work with accredited trade organizations, so you'd be working with a trade organization within your industry who will be working with UKTI, and there will be a match funding grant put together to assist you to go out to develop greater knowledge of that market, gain experience in attending and getting the most from overseas trade show, advice and support from trade experts, and to meet potential buyers. So these are programs that are put together, well-defined programs with specific objectives for your business purpose. Another service that UKTI offers, if you're working with a trade advisor, you will be registered for what we call business opportunities. The business opportunities, it's a free online service providing export sales leads and tender opportunities. These are services sourced via UKTI's global network. So usually you'll get tenders coming to the British government for expertise in a certain industry, whether it's from Brazil, whether it's from the UAE, whether it's from Qatar or Russia. There's a specific demand and request. It comes through that portal and the British government puts it through. And if you're registered and have selected your sector and industry, and it will trim each time something comes in that is relevant to your industry, an email will come out to inform you of that specific business opportunity, which you could then apply for. So that's a general advantage of working with UKTI, and any company can register for these business opportunities. You don't have to be on any particular program, but you need to be working with an international trade advisor. So in terms of your next step from here, if you're interested in taking your business overseas, and I take it you are, you get an assigned and dedicated international trade advisor. The Passport to Export program guarantees this, but you don't need to be on the program to be with a trade advisor and working with UKTI. So I'd advise every company that's here, every locality in the UK has an international trade advisor available to you for free, compliments the government to work with you and develop your overseas market. We will help you identify that trade advisor, or you can register through the ukti.gov website, and an email will be sent out informing you who you should be contacting within that area. Register for the Passport to Export program. Your international trade advisor will take you through the registration of that program and putting you on that program if you're interested. But first thing is to find a trade advisor. That trade advisor will help you to develop your export action plan and help you work towards your targeted markets and objectives, identifying specific research for your products and for your potential customers. So as we say at UKTI, the demand is out there, and we're here to help you to link your products and your supply to what is available out there. So that's basically it as an overview of what UKTI can do for first-time exporters and anyone new to export or anyone who is interested in going on to the Passport to Export program. But as I say to you, your first step is an international trade advisor. Like myself, there's some other advisors around here, colleagues around the desk. Feel free to have a conversation. Some of you have already spoken to and taken your details. That will be passed on to our office, and a trade advisor will be informed to contact you locally. Anyone who has not yet had a conversation with one of the trade advisors who are around the desk here, you should do that if you're interested in taking advantage of UKTI services.